political outcry over this, Daddy King defended Carter. It is wrong to jump on a man for a slip of the tongue that everyone knows does not represent his thinking, Daddy King said. There were other racial gaffes and slips of the tongue during the 1976 campaign by leading Democrats Carl Albert and Philip Noel, by Daddy King's own favorite liberal Republican Nelson Rockefeller, and the most famous one by Agriculture Secretary Earl Butz, which got Butz fired in a way that really aided the Carter campaign. For perhaps unrelated reasons, Carter won great majorities in black precincts, 95% of the national black vote according to some accounts, more like 82% according to other accounts. Congressional Quarterly reported that Carter's margin of victory consisted entirely of black votes in 13 states, worth a total of 216 electoral votes. 13 states included Mississippi. Manny Marable observed, had the black vote been excluded, or had the black vote been as divided as the white vote, Carter would have been soundly defeated. As one Urban League officer put it, if Jerry Ford had just gone to some black churches in Ohio, he might still be president. Many black leaders expected some respect from Carter in return. Well, high black turnout for Carter turned out to be just a prelude in a drama of betrayal. 6 months after Carter's inauguration, the Urban League's Vernon Jordan, supportive of Carter until then, attacked him at the League's convention. What the administration has not done for black folks in the cities far exceeds its list of accomplishments, Jordan said. The sad fact is that the administration is not living up to the first commandment of politics: help those who help you. In August, Southern Christian Leadership Conference leaders denounced Carter at their annual meeting. In September, the Congressional Black Caucus's stinging review of Carter's first 8 months led a White House staffer to conclude, quote, the political climate in the black community is hostile and at its lowest ebb. There is a deep sense of disappointment and hurt. The full version of my much longer paper, I go into the Republican Party's vast and expensive effort to recruit disaffected black voters, on which subject, by the way, I recommend he writes superb recent dissertation. The RNC chairman, Bill Brock, stressed in fundraising letters that the GOP only needed to increase its share of the black vote slightly. In close states, like those 13 states that Carter owed to high black turnout, just a 5 to 15% shift of the black vote would save the GOP from its current minority status. That change should be easy, Brock stressed, since census figures showed that most black Americans were now middle class and thus natural supporters of GOP fiscal policies. Brock was greatly encouraged by off-year elections early in Carter's term. Key Republican candidates jumped up from the usual 10 to 15% of the black vote and would have lost, up from the usual 10 to 15% of the black vote to over a third, sometimes over 40% of the black vote, and they would have lost without the increase in their share of the black vote. And one of these surprise Republican winners, by the way, was Mitch McConnell, current Senate leader of the party you know, who owed his career to black voters in Louisville, 38% of whom voted for Mitch McConnell in his election to the county judgeship that began his career. Not only black Republicans, but black leftists and black nationalists, such as the leadership of the National Black Assembly and Manny Marable and others, urged black voters to remain neutral or to boycott the presidential election in 1980. Several Congressional Black Caucus leaders refused to endorse Carter. The head of the Congressional Black Caucus, Curtis Collins of Chicago, held out until September 24th, when she extracted a great dramatic event, concession from Jimmy Carter in exchange for her support. Jesse Jackson remained neutral into October. For reasons such as these, or for similar reasons, perhaps. The main black newspaper of Martin Luther King's hometown actually endorsed Reagan in 1980 and later called him another Abraham Lincoln. The main black newspaper of Cleveland, the Cleveland Post, also endorsed Reagan in 1980. Several black leaders with movement credentials endorsed Reagan too, such as Martin Luther King's hand-picked successor, Ralph Abernathy. The Washington Post's left-leaning black columnist Dorothy Gilliam defended Abernathy, she did not endorse Reagan, but she defended Abernathy from what she called the blanket denunciation of other black leaders, noting that black progress generally came when neither party could take the black vote for granted. That old Henry England strategy, along with lingering GOP partisanship sustained by local and family ties, might explain other black support for Reagan. Charles Evers, brother of Medgar, also endorsed Reagan. So did Hosea Williams. So did Eldridge Cleaver. Nathan Wright, who had chaired the 1967 National Black Power Conference in Newark, had always supported economic self-development and had long dismissed the pro-civil rights statements of both parties as mere lip service. Wright announced in 1980, "For the good of black America and our nation as a whole, I shall be voting Republican this year and urging every black American to do the same." Black Americans often made deals with racist regimes. Orville Faubus and Richard J. Daley both earned strong black support, for example. Ralph Ellison said it was a basic survival skill to see past the misleading rhetoric that all white men in power use and find some sort of provisional or personal advantage through working with them. That may be the only real prize in a contest to determine the lesser of two evils, again, in a system devoted to majority rule. At any rate, the 1980 campaign was ambivalent, or confused, in its racial lunges. 2 weeks before Reagan's Neshoba speech, a large Ku Klux Klan faction in Huntsville, Alabama, endorsed Reagan. This endorsement got no notice at first, and Reagan immediately repudiated the endorsement, according to the New York